Hey sportsmen, John Bergsman here today, live again from Captain Chuck's up here in Ludington, Michigan. And this week's video fishing report, your Hot Bites report, it's going to be for the first day of January 2020. That's right, a new decade. We're going to hit you with some Traverse City open water perch fishing in West Bay. We've got this crazy warm weather. There's no ice up there. Captain Dave Rommel from Tiny Bubbles Charters has got a great report for you there. We slide down to the Benzie River and Benzie Bay in Benzie County, then up to the Upper Peninsula, all the way to the west, to the western UP for Lake Gogebic mixed bag, perch, walleye, and even some big crappie. And we finish up in Manistee and the Manistee River. This rain has got a fresh push fish coming up. Stay tuned. This is going to be a action-packed, fun-filled 4 reports here from Captain Chuck's, downtown Ludington. Hey guys, Traverse City, Michigan. Now, you know what? We shouldn't be talking about open water perch fishing right now, the last day or two of December, but here we are. We've had this big push of warm weather. We've got no ice in sight on the bay, and we've got Captain Dave Rommel from Tiny Bubbles Charters who took his daughters out and they found some awesome fish. Perch fishing in West Bay, 25 to 30 feet. Traditional perch fish is how Dave fishes, so he's going to go ahead and either anchor up or hold with a spot lock trolling motor, and he's going to be fishing vertical. Bead rigs, perch pounders, perch rigs, you name it, 35 to 40 feet. Dave says the key to this is bigger minnows. The bigger minnows got bigger fish. So remember that when you're stopping at the bait store and picking some stuff up. Now, these fish are roaming nomadic fish, and that 30, 35, 40 foot, you're going to find them. Once you got a guy like Dave that finds them, what you're going to want to do is just graph your way down a shoreline with your Garmin, you know, and this is where your live scope would really be an awesome tool for you to be able to look around and see those schools of fish. But no matter what your electronics are, definitely just don't stop and start fishing. Go find yourself a school of fish and set up on top of them. And again, just traditional perch fishing, but this time of year is super unusual. I'm sure these fish are going to be biting very aggressively. Dave said that they were jumping in the boat. So try this out. This upcoming week is really, other than this Monday, Tuesday cold blast of wind and rain and all the stuff that goes with it, by Wednesday afternoon and Thursday, it's starting a major warm-up again where we're going to be in the upper 30s in northern Michigan all the way through the weekend. So take a trip up to Traverse City, check it out. If you need any bait or any tackle, any advice, stop in at my friends at Traverse Bay Tackle. That's right up there in Grawn, right on your way to the bay to the bay to fish. These guys have got everything, just like Captain Chuck's here. They got everything a local needs to fish that local water there at Traverse Bay Tackle. Hey guys, you know what? It's almost boat show season. That's right, the Ultimate Fishing Show is just around the corner. You got to get down to Wilson Marine. Here, one of their 4 locations in southeast Michigan. Angler Quest, Starcraft, Crestliner, your fishing boat headquarters has got 2019 non-currents at blowout prices. Check in with one of the salespeople. Make your best deal. They'll wrap that boat up for you, put it away for the rest of the winter, and walleye fishing starts in March or April on the rivers. You'll be ready to go. Get on down to Wilson's and make your best deal. Why mess around with the boat show scene? Get it done right now at Wilson's Marine. So we're going to drop down in our next report, Benzie County out of Frankfort, Michigan. And again, Captain Dave and Alex have both been fishing in this area. Alex, our fishing moderator from Fireplug Charters, has been up on the Benzie River and had good success. Fresh push of fish coming into the Benzie River just this past few days with this rain. And Captain Dave has had his daughters Ellie and shoot, I forgot his other daughter's name because I'm doing a fishing report. But either way, Dave and those 2 girls are always out fishing, and he tells me that the pike fishing on Benzie Bay is hit or miss. Now, you don't want to go up there and make a whole trip of going to go pike fishing Benzie Bay, even though the pike fishing there can be phenomenal with big cranks. because it has been hit or miss. But boy, when it's been on, they've been sucking those big cranks in, and it's been awesome fishing. That's trolling for big pike in Betsy Bay. Now, Captain Alex from Fireplug has also been out himself fishing on a guided trip up on the Betsy River, and he tells me that the steelhead bite has been very solid there. Now, they're bead and spawn float fishing, and the critical colors, according to Alex, have been yellow and chartreuse. So you're just running bead and spawn rigs under floats, and you're fishing them in the pools, the transition areas, the deep seams, all that type of stuff, pools behind sandbars or gravel bars. Wherever you can find those steelhead right now are staging, and they're holding in those transition areas. So that's been the key to catching fish up there in the Betsy River. Hey, when you're up there, whether it's this time of year or that open water season, Captain Dave from Tiny Bubbles is the man to talk to about getting out on Crystal Lake or the Big Lake, Michigan, or even sometimes he'll go river fishing. I know he's out working a lot this time of year too, but Captain Dave is our resident reporter from the Frankfort-Benzie County area. Also, if you're looking for a great place to stay, Sleeping Bear Resort. Now, it used to be Miller's Hideaway Resort. They've renamed Miller's to Sleeping Bear Resort, and it's super important that you get that into your contact info. This is an awesome place, a bunch of really well-kept rustic cabins that have all been renovated and renewed right there on the shores of Little Platte Lake. It's an awesome setting. It's an awesome place to stay. And if you're looking for something fun to do during the softwater period of time, basically from May 1st all the way through October, our friends at Riverside Canoes, they take you right through the Sleeping Bear National Park on the river, and they can show you an awesome time. Very fun adventure, whether you want to just be out on the river for a couple hours or a half-day float. Get a hold of the folks up at Riverside Canoes and they'll take care of you. If you're looking for a great, affordable outbuilding for whatever your needs is, check out my friends at Midwest Steel Carports up in Grant, Michigan. They have awesome outbuildings at affordable prices with quality craftsmanship. That's Midwest Steel Carports up in Grant. Check them out online. So hey guys, we're in the truck crossing the bridge, and we're going to take you ice fishing all the way over to Gogebic in the western UP. Now, on your way, you're going to pass a couple of spots that have been awesome, Escanaba and Curtis. But with this push of rain and a little bit of warm temperatures, and given the fact that Escanaba is a great lakes with a lot of current and a lot of funky stuff that goes on at times there, we're going to take that report and talk to you about that next week. We don't want to send people in an unsafe condition, but there's nothing unsafe about the north end of Gogebic right now. The only thing you'll have to deal with is quite a bit of snow. Tim from Timbers Resort tells me they've got over 100 inches of snow already this season, which is crazy. But what they also have going on, as you can see by these pictures, is they've got awesome perch fishing for jumbos, and they've also got good amounts of walleye coming in on dead sticks and tip-ups, and they've even got some random big crappies coming in the catch as well. Now, listen, before I get into how to catch those fish on Gogebic, remember, these Gogebic monster perch are a limited resource, so use great discretion in the ones you keep. You're going to catch those mid-sized ones. Those are the ones to keep. Take a quick photo of those big ones and try to release those big spawners so that they can keep Lake Gogebic filled with these big perch. So, how are they catching them? Well, they're doing it in multiple different ways. What you're going to do is want to go there with 2, 3, 4 guys, where you can get a spread of 4 or 5 tip-ups out, and everybody else can also be either using a jigging rod or a dead stick through a hole. And you want to be moving. You want to have plenty of holes in the ice. You want to be moving around, checking, always staying active. If you just sit in one spot, you aren't going to catch as many fish. So they're jigging with minnows. If you're walleye hunting, you're going to want to try the low light periods, morning and evening, and you're going to want to have those in shallow, weedy areas, jigging with a minnow or a minnow head. Now, again, a lot of different ways you can do that, or anything from a jigging spoon to a Russian spoon to target walleye and perch. And if you're looking, then after the low light period is done, you want to jump on your sled, you're going to want to head out to the deep mud with wigglers, and that's where the guys have been catching the big perch. So they're using either tip-ups and small minnows, and then they're dead sticking or slow moving Russian spoon or something like that with wigglers. So that's where the perch have been coming from. Now, again, tons of snow. Keep that in mind. You're going to want to have a four-wheeler or a snowmobile. I think a snowmobile with a long track or a quad track is going to be the best way to move around Gogebic right now. If you're looking, you just can't move around Gogebic. If you've got that in your head, you can't move around Gogebic by foot. You can move around from where you stop to your holes by foot, but there's just too much snow on the lake to move around. Also remember this, the entire lake isn't frozen. The main body of the lake to the north end is frozen, but the main body of the lake is still a little bit iffy because of the snow, so I would stay up. The area out in front of Timbers Resort has been what's good. Tim tells me guys are going right out of the public boat launch right there by his resort, and then they're fishing just that north end into the deeper and the shallower depending on what they're targeting. But this is the area of Gogebic that I would work on right now. Go ahead and call Tim or Sarah, get yourself a room or a cabin. Things have been snapping up fast by a lot of snowmobilers taking cabins because the snowmobiling is just out of sight right now. But hey, fishing's out of sight too, so get on up to the Western UP and get on up to Timbers Resort and see everything that this beautiful region of Michigan has to offer. Hey guys, we'll be right back with you with another report in a second. Just a quick ditty here from WavePro about one of the top reasons you should buy a WavePro and have these in your boat. Lee, talk to me about that forgiveness factor of the air and oil combination within the shock.
Yeah, the air is really forgiving. You can have a 300-pound guy sit in it, you can have a 100-pound person, and it's always going to do its thing because the hydraulic oil part is always working. I mean, there's
exactly. So it's compression, basically.
It's compression.
You're using the principles of compression and continuing compression.
And we're squishing that air right to nothing, and it's just spiking up because basically we're running out of place to squish the air.
Exactly.
And, where if it was a spring, it goes 100, 200, 300 per inch, where we're 100, 300, 900, 1800.
Exactly. And so that's why when I'm feeling that, when I'm running rough waffle or chop, which is always the worst, you know, I'm seeing the seat base, it's just constantly adjusting. Just as fast as I'm hitting that chop, that seat base is adjusting, and my body essentially is staying pretty much in the same place. It's just adjusting for it.
Yeah, we had Fox on Mille Lacs here, and these things move like 60 inches a second. That's how much movement capability, and the key is the air, because we're just squishing it to nothing, so basically we're airlocking you. That's what's keeping you from bottoming, but we are slowing you with the oil up and down to control so it isn't trying to shoot you out of the chair.
Gotcha, gotcha. Well, hey, just another reason to buy a WavePro seat base for your next boat, or if you're sick of getting your back beat up, how about retrofitting your current boat with a set of new WavePros? Hey, now back to the fishing reports. Sliding back over the bridge all the way south to Manistee. And the big Manistee River has been just, who knows, this has been like a jillion years that the big Manistee has been a go-to place for steelhead. And it's no different this year. It's been awesome and as consistent as any western side river has been. We've got a good report coming next week from the Pier Marquette, and we just talked about the Betsy, but we're going to talk about the Manistee and where those fish are at. Now, Michael Tillman, our friend from Tillman Outdoors, has been teaching up there as a school teacher up in Manistee. He's been fishing that river, physically lives on one of the most prolific spawning runs on the Manistee River himself. Gets up every morning, has his coffee looking at that beautiful river, and he tells me the fish are set up right now in pools behind gravel bars, in deep seams, in all the transition areas where fish typically hold during this time of the year. And a fresh group of fish is going to be bound to be coming into the river with all this rain that we've just had here earlier this week. So I think this coming weekend with the moderate temperatures and the moderate winds is going to be lights out on the Manistee River. Now, How are you catching them? Same way as up on the Betsy. You're using floats with beads or floats and spawn. You're using your yellow patterns and also your darker orange patterns. The darker orange patterns have been working well also on the Manistee River. Now, again, if you're looking to get out on the Manistee and take a quick trip out during these moderate temperature times, you're going to want to get a hold of Michael at Tillman Outfitters. He can get you right out on the river in a beautiful river boat. Alex, of course, runs trips on the Manistee River for Fireplug charters. And we're going to talk about this here in the next report or two, but we're super excited. We've talked to the guys at Tangled Tackle right there on Main Street, right on Main Street in Manistee, about the upcoming Portage Lake ice fishing season. We thought we were going to get on the ice early. This warm push kind of has changed all that, but we're hoping for a week of cold weather and get out for that early panfish, and specifically that early perch bite that happens every year on Portage Lake. So when you see that cold weather coming, grab your phone, pick up the folks at Portage Lake Motel, little motel right there in Onekama, right next to the boat launch. It's an awesome place to stay when you're going to go ice fishing. You've got direct across the road access to the lake. You and your sleds and your stuff can go right out from there and access some of the best fishing water on Portage Lake on that far eastern side of the lake. Now, if you're looking for just grabbing a room to go out with Tillman and or Alex to go river fishing, of course you can just stop at the Days Inn. They're always there. They're taking care of fishermen year round. This is what they do for a living. And don't forget, if you're going to go on your own, Tangled Tackle, the guys at Tangled Tackle do a great job, whether you're going to fish the Manistee River, whether you're going to fish Portage Lake, or whether you're going to fish out on the big water. Tangled Tackle is the stop for you in Manistee. Thanks for joining us for this week's Hot Bites Fishing Report. We realized that we were all over the place, but that's because the way that fishing, some of these areas are now open and available, and we really didn't expect them to be open and available here, a couple of weeks ago. So remember, if you're ever traveling through this or you're in and around this greater Ludington area, Captain Chuck's 2 is your full-service sporting goods store. They've got tons of stuff, as you see behind me. They've got the shacks and shanties ready to go for the ice fishing season. The stock is loaded, the store is loaded to the gills right now with all things ice fishing. Of course, they've always got rows and rows and rows of all your big lake stuff from Dreamweaver. They can take care of what you want. Talk to Randy or talk to Scott here at the store. Get what you need, get out fishing here in Michigan's great outdoors. We'll see you again next week on the Hot Bites Fishing Report.